Hey, happy holidays. I'm going to recap the community meeting and then talk about this upcoming theme this week. So, community meeting, about 4 people showed up, and one of the powerful moments that I think captures a lot is someone said, "Hey, I don't I feel blocked about even starting journaling. I feel blocked about taking action." They said something along the lines of, I need someone to slap me in the face to get me to do something. I need someone to push me to do something. And my response was, the being pushed doesn't really work in the long run. But hey, god damn it, start journaling. Start journaling. Just start. Do it. So I used to work as a personal trainer. And so I put on my personal trainer hat. Just do it. Just start journaling. Just do it. And then we got to switch and say, hey, but let's also realize me pushing you to do it, it's not going to last long term. Long term, for you to have sustainable health, it's about your relationship to yourself. And that's where this compassion comes in. So, the theme for this upcoming week is also how compassion leads to a growth mindset. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the topic of a growth mindset, I will link to an article down below, an introductory article I just published on the topic. A growth mindset, in a quick nutshell, is thinking that your abilities can grow and change instead of being stuck. So, in a nutshell, how this relates to binging is that you have to learn from your binges. You can think of overcoming binge eating, as a skill that you practice. And if you do not have this mentality, you will not overcome it. You won't. So, how do you learn from binges? Well, this is where the compassion part comes in, because oftentimes the shame from a binge, the disgust, the self-hatred, it can just be so overwhelming. It can just be so overwhelming. It can cloud your whole mind. And so compassion, hand on the heart, imagining your inner child, knowing that other people are struggling too, showing up and voicing your voice in the community. This can help deal with the shame. If you can kind of minimize the shame, then you can learn from a binge. You can say, oh, what went wrong? What happened? Why did I binge? Was I hungry? Was it an emotional thing that I missed? Was I triggered? Was it some other factor? Was it something food-wise, was there something? So you can look at a binge and you can learn from it. You can practice. You can say, okay, next time, I think it might have been this. Next time, I'm going to do that. And the idea of practicing a skill is the growth mindset, that you can practice and improve. And that was another thing we talked about in the community meeting, is that someone shared a technique where if you're feeling shame, you try to really recall a memory where you were either grateful or some powerful, where you were feeling good. And the point is that you remember feeling good in your body, that it's an embodied experience, not a logical one. So someone had a memory of someone giving them a compliment. I had a memory of actually this past Thanksgiving just hanging out with people, and I think we were all able to kind of feel in our bodies positive. And so this can be a practice for you when you're caught in shame to remember something when you were grateful, and to practice fighting back against shame. Right? So it's practice, and as you practice, then you get better at fighting back against shame. And of course, shame is not the whole solution to overcoming food struggles, but I hope you see that you can practice. You can practice beating back shame. You can practice learning from a binge. Oftentimes, for example, people start to notice that they're upset and they're not dealing with the emotion directly. So you can start practicing that, right? So it's a practice. And compassion kind of unlocks the ability to practice, right? Because if you make a mistake, which is going to happen, if shame comes, it's going to happen. How can we continue on when we make a mistake? When we don't eat perfectly, or when we somehow fall short, or when we forget to journal, or when we journal and we still overeat. How can we continue to grow past that? And the answer is compassion. The answer is compassion. Learning how to be compassionate. If we can be compassionate, we can minimize the shame, we can think, we can reflect, we can tinker, we can toy, we can experiment, we can try, we can grow. So growth mindset is the idea that setbacks and failures, they're not threatening, they're just things to learn from. It's not evidence that you're a failure, and that it's part of the process. So that's kind of what we talked about in our community meeting. It's also the theme for this upcoming week. So I want to end with a question. What does growth mindset mean to you? Let me know in the comments down below. All right. Thank you. Namaste.